Hola, ¿qué tal? Saludos, bienvenidos a esta emisión de Padilla en América a través de economiafinanzas.net y por supuesto de Infobae América. Muchas gracias por estarnos acompañando. Bueno, en esta ocasión tenemos un invitado especial por diversos motivos. Primero que nada, esta entrevista será en inglés y usted tendrá, bueno, los subtítulos un poco más adelante para que la pueda entender. Y en segundo lugar es que tenemos a Donald Trump Jr. Donald Trump Jr. Poco a poco ha venido haciéndose cargo de las operaciones del Trump Organization, a cargo y fundado por su padre, el señor Donald Trump. Y bueno, Donald Trump Jr. está con nosotros porque Trump Organization está anunciando la que será su segunda propiedad en América Latina. La primera fue hace 5 o 6 años en Panamá, el Trump Ocean Club, y ahora está anunciando un megaproyecto que es las torres Trump de Río de Janeiro. Es un proyecto de 4,000 millones de dólares. Es grandísimo, son 5 torres. Y bueno, vamos a dejar que el señor Trump nos hable un poco de esto. Vamos a hablar aparte de las condiciones del mercado, etcétera. Mr. Trump, thank you very much for accepting this interview.
My pleasure. Good to be here.
Thank you very much. So this Trump Towers in Rio de Janeiro, it's a mega project. Why don't you talk a little bit about it?
Well, what we have is an area of Puerto Maravilla, the highest zoning area within that area that we're going to be constructing up to and including 5 major office towers. Could be multiple components to that, averaging just under, let's call it 1 million square feet when you total all of them in each individual building. So it's a very ambitious project in a very ambitious and great area that's a revitalization zone within Rio.
I saw the project on its conception online. Certainly, it's gigantic. Are you gonna build the whole thing, the 5 buildings, or are you gonna start just with that one and then go on as the market demands?
We're going to go on as the market demands. Our contract with Caixa, which is the group that's the governmental group selling the air rights and the CPACs of the Puerto Maravilla project. They've agreed to let us do 2 buildings first. We're going to start those. They have to be completed within 30 months of when we start. And then from then on, we can build as we see fit. I think, obviously, when you're talking about introducing this much square footage at any one time, there's probably not many markets that wouldn't be impacted adversely by doing that all at one time. So we have the ability to stage that out as the market demands, as the market dictates, as we're able to fill it up from a tenancy standpoint. And so we have a lot of flexibility built into the contract so that we're not overpopulating the area.
It's good to hear that it's going to be first just 1 or 2 buildings. And I say this because, as you know, the Brazil economy has been slowing. And a lot of analysts point that after the injection of money due the World Cup and the Olympics, they really doesn't expect that much of more growth. Certainly not the 10 years that Brazil had in the past. They don't expect it to repeat itself in the future. So I guess my question is, do you hold any hopes that this project will end up having more than 2 buildings?
I mean, I think we do. I mean, I agree with you from the sentiment of, a lot of people build for the sole purpose of supplying for the Olympics or the World Cup or whatever it may be. And, in this case, you have both of them coming on within the next few years. And I think that's generally speaking a mistake. I think, those are 2 weeks, maybe a month, but, that's not something you stake a long-term real estate project on. That all said, I think given sort of the natural gas discoveries around Brazil, given where a lot of things are going in the economy, I agree there's always going to be a slowdown. The last 10 years have been incredible, but there is such great potential there. It's a market that for, at least in terms of, the high-end office sector hasn't been serviced. There hasn't been great new stock built really in 40 years. The stuff that's there is really rather decrepit and certainly not Class A. And the companies that are located within there, I think, are starting to be able to see what's going on elsewhere in the world and starting to probably demand those same sorts of services and those same types of buildings for themselves. And they haven't been able to get that in the market stock. I mean, we see that a lot, obviously, when we do residential projects. The same was said for us, about the project in Panama. Well, they're not ready for that kind of quality of hotel, and now it's one of the great hotels in Latin America. Well, they can't handle that kind of real estate. We did incredibly well on the real estate sales side there, boosting the entire market substantially. So, I think your point is well taken, but I think, with the ability to stage. I think we can probably eliminate a lot of those downfalls. And again, I think there's certainly enough absorption there for the 2 buildings that we are going to be required to go ahead and build.
How are you looking at the rest of Latin America? Do you foresee any future project in Latin America?
We do. I think we see it as a big feeder market for us. I think it's a very interesting place that, obviously it's going to take a lot of work to get and to ferment those relationships to be able to turn them into actual deals. We're doing that right now with MRP in Brazil. We're looking, again, our hotel team is very actively seeking, based on sort of the successes of the hotel in Panama, other hotels within the Brazilian market as well as elsewhere. We have a great residential project going on in Punta del Este in Uruguay. Right now, just smaller building, but ultra luxury on the water there in Punta del Este, which is going to be a very sexy market for us. So Latin America is very much on our radar.
Where in the world do you think it's going to come, the future growth of Trump organization?
Well, I've been saying sort of the emerging world, the BRIC countries, I think is definitely, they're emerged enough that they have the ability to execute on a high-end project. But they're also still very brand conscious. It means a lot to them. They understand the premiums paid for brand and what that means to them in the end. That's what they want. And I think that bodes very well for, a brand such as ours.
Mr. Donald Trump Jr., thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you very much, Alberto. I appreciate it.